In a world that never stops talking, where every opinion demands to be heard, where every thought is instantly shared, and where silence is mistaken for weakness, choosing to stay quiet is an act of power. True power doesn't scream. It doesn't seek validation. It doesn't need to prove anything. It simply is. And silence, when understood, is not emptiness. It is a presence so strong, it doesn't need to announce itself. Most people speak because they are afraid of being unseen. They fear the space between words, because that space holds them accountable to their own thoughts. But silence doesn't mean absence. It means presence in its purest form. It is stillness that listens more than it reacts, observes more than it judges, and understands more than it speaks. The one who is silent sees everything clearly, while others are distracted by noise, by competition, by gossip. The silent one sharpens their awareness. They listen to what is not said. They notice the shifts, the patterns, the energies that loud voices often miss. Think about it. Some of the strongest forces in life move silently. A seed grows beneath the soil in absolute silence. The sun rises each morning without a sound. The tides shift. The moon changes face. Your heart beats. None of it needs noise to assert its importance. Real power is quiet because it is confident. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It allows results to speak. And that's what silence trains you to do. Teaches you to stop wasting energy on unnecessary explanations, on defending your path to people who were never meant to understand it, and on reacting to noise that was never about you to begin with. When you master silence, you stop giving away your power. You learn to sit with discomfort. You learn to listen, not just to others, but to your own soul. You hear your intuition more clearly. You understand what drains you and what feeds you. And in that understanding, you gain control, not over the world, but over yourself. And that is the only control that truly matters. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. They're often the most insecure. They hide their fear behind volume. They speak fast because they're afraid of being challenged. But the one who can pause, who can endure the urge to respond, who doesn't react instantly, that person is in command, not just of the room, but of themselves. Silence gives you time to think, time to reflect, time to act with intention rather than react from emotion. In silence, you plan, you strategize, you heal, you elevate, and you begin to separate from those who live for attention. While they perform, you progress. While they chase claps, you chase growth. While they speak to impress, you move to evolve. So remember this, silence isn't weakness. It's the mark of someone who's building something far louder than words. Their presence, their energy, their results, that will do all the talking. Let them doubt you. Let them misunderstand you. Let the world keep talking. Self-focus is not selfishness. It is survival in a world designed to distract you. Every day, countless forces fight for your attention. Social media, opinions, obligations, comparisons. If you don't deliberately choose to turn inward, to focus on your growth, your peace, your purpose, then you become a passenger in your own life, driven by everything and everyone except yourself. Mastery doesn't come from watching others. It doesn't come from copying trends or measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel. Mastery is born in solitude. It is born in self-awarenessness. It is born in the quiet hours when you choose to show up for yourself over and over again. When you focus on yourself, you begin to understand who you really are, not who the world told you to be, not who your fears shaped you into, but the version of you that is authentic, powerful, and aligned. You see your strengths without false humility and your weaknesses without shame. And in that clarity, you begin the journey of mastery, not perfection, but progress. Every book you read, every skill you refine, every habit you develop, and every emotion you learn to manage is a step toward becoming untouchable by external chaos. The truth is, the world doesn't slow down, it gets louder, faster, and more demanding. But when your internal world is strong, when you've invested in your mindset, your discipline, and your peace, you no longer get tossed around by circumstances. You respond instead of react. You move with intention, not impulse. This is the edge that self-focus gives you. While others are drained by comparison, you are fueled by purpose. While they are distracted, you are dialed in. Mastery is never accidental. It is the reward for relentless self-focus. Athletes don't become elite by watching others train. Artists don't create masterpieces by following noise. Leaders don't lead by seeking approval. They all turn inward. They all carve out time to reflect, to prepare, to improve, and they do it consistently. That's the key. Self-focus is not a weekend activity. It's a lifestyle. It means saying no to what doesn't serve you, even when it's popular. It means protecting your energy from people who drain it. It means being willing to walk alone if the crowd is headed in the wrong direction. But with that solitude comes power. With that discipline comes clarity. And with that self-investment comes confidence. The kind that doesn't need applause, the kind that radiates from within. You start trusting your decisions more. You stop seeking validation. You become grounded in your values, rooted in your purpose, and unshakable in your mindset. In a world that rewards noise, choose focus. In a time where everyone wants to be seen, choose to see yourself. Because when you do the inner work, when you prioritize your evolution, when you sharpen your own edge instead of trying to dull someone else's, then you rise. You rise quietly, steadily, and unavoidably. That is the path to mastery. And it begins the moment you decide that you are worth the focus. Letting go of control is one of the most difficult, yet most liberating things you will ever learn to do. From a young age, we are taught that success comes from effort, from pushing harder, from holding on tighter. We believe that if we can just manage every outcome, predict every reaction, and prevent every failure, we'll finally feel safe, secure, and successful. But the truth is, no matter how much you plan, how much you prepare, or how much pressure you apply, there are things in this life that simply cannot be forced. The more you try to control everything, the more resistance you create. You hold on so tightly that you squeeze the life out of what could have naturally evolved into something beautiful. Control is often rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of uncertainty, fear of the unknown. And while it may feel comforting to believe you're steering every detail, this mindset can become a prison. It traps you in anxiety, in perfectionism, in constant overthinking. You begin to micromanage not just your own life, but the people around you. You lose trust in them, in the world, and most importantly, in yourself. Because control doesn't build confidence, it builds dependence on outcomes. It builds tension. And over time, that tension breaks you. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming passive. It means knowing the difference between effort and attachment. You still show up. You still prepare. You still work hard. But you release your obsession with how it must unfold. You stop needing the answer today. You stop demanding that everything happen on your timeline. Because some of the greatest blessings arrive when you least expect them. Not because you forced them, but because you allowed them. When you let go, you make room for the unexpected. You allow the universe to do what it does best. Align. Align the right people, the right opportunities, the right timing. You begin to operate from a place of trust instead of attention. You start to notice how much energy you save when you stop forcing conversations, relationships, jobs, or outcomes that were never meant for you in the first place. You realize that life is not a problem to be solved, but a process to be experienced. There is a quiet strength in surrender, a wisdom that says, I've done my part, now I let go. And ironically, that's often when things begin to move. Because life responds to faith, not blind hope, but grounded trust. The kind that comes from knowing that your worth isn't tied to performance, that your peace isn't found in perfection, and that your path doesn't have to look like anyone else's. So breathe, loosen your grip, stop trying to force something into place that is not meant to be there. Life is not a battle to be won, it's a dance to be felt. When you let go, you don't lose control. You gain flow, you gain freedom, and sometimes you gain everything you ever wanted, just not in the way you imagined. In today's world, noise is constant. It's everywhere, in the notifications on your phone, the endless stream of opinions online, the conversations filled with surface-level distractions, the pressure to be seen, to be heard, to be validated. This noise isn't just sound, it's emotional, mental, and even spiritual interference. It's the voice of fear, of comparison, of urgency, of doubt. And if you don't learn how to quiet that noise, it will drown out the only voice that truly matters, your own. Noise is a distraction, not just because it's loud, but because it's designed to keep you externally focused. It wants your attention scattered. It thrives on urgency and chaos. It tells you that you're behind, that you're not enough, that you have to keep chasing more to matter. And as long as you're listening to it, you're disconnected from your true direction. You start reacting to everything instead of intentionally responding. You start moving because others are moving, not because you've chosen your path. And that's how people lose themselves, by following the noise instead of following their inner voice. Silence, on the other hand, is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of clarity. It is in silence that your thoughts settle, that your emotions surface honestly, that your deepest truths rise without distortion. Silence reconnects you to yourself. It reminds you of what actually matters, what you value, what you want, not what the world tells you to want. In silence, you begin to listen, not just to your mind, but to your intuition, to your body, to the subtle signals life is always giving you when you slow down enough to hear them. But silence takes courage, because in silence, there's nowhere to hide. You confront your doubts, your fears, your guilt, your regrets. You face the truth you've been avoiding by staying busy. Yet this confrontation is necessary, because on the other side of that silence is direction, real direction, not borrowed goals, not societal expectations, but your own personal compass, recalibrated and clear. The louder the world gets, the more important it becomes to protect your peace. That means setting boundaries, that means logging out, that means stepping away from noise that doesn't serve you, even if everyone else seems to be consumed by it. It's not your job to keep up with chaos. It's your responsibility to stay rooted in truth. Because when you protect your peace, you preserve your energy. And with that energy, you make decisions with clarity, you move with purpose, you live with intention. Direction doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And if you don't make space for silence, you'll never hear it. The answers you're seeking, the clarity you crave, the breakthrough you need, it's all within you. But it won't compete with the noise. It waits for you to choose silence. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It determines your mood, your momentum, your confidence, and your clarity. And just like water follows the shape of its container, your energy follows your attention. Wherever your focus goes, your life flows. If you're constantly looking outward at other people's opinions, at their success, at their pace, you scatter your energy. You move through life responding to what's happening around you instead of creating what you want within you. When you focus on others, what they're doing, how far they've come, how much attention they're getting, you start comparing, doubting, and drifting. Your energy leaks through every moment spent in someone else's lane. You trade progress for envy, confidence for insecurity, and peace for anxiety. The more you watch them, the more you lose sight of your own path. And it's not because their path is better, it's because your focus has left the building, and with it, your power. The moment you pull that focus back, everything changes. When you redirect your attention inward, toward your goals, your habits, your mindset, you begin to rebuild your energy. You stop operating from lack and start operating from alignment. You stop chasing and start creating. This is where real power lives, in the discipline of self-attention, in the daily decision to stay in your lane, to improve yourself, to become so invested in your growth that you no longer have time to be distracted by anyone else's. This isn't about ignoring the world, it's about prioritizing your world. Because when your focus is clear, your energy becomes magnetic. People can feel it. You start to attract opportunities instead of chasing them. You start to gain clarity on what matters and cut away what doesn't. You begin to make decisions based on who you're becoming, not based on who others expect you to be. That's the power of focused energy. It builds momentum, and momentum creates transformation. You can't build a masterpiece if you keep stepping off your canvas to admire someone else's. You can't grow your garden if you're always looking over the fence. Your life needs your full attention. Your dreams, your healing, your vision, they all require energy, and you only have so much of it each day. Spend it wisely. Spend it where it grows you. So the next time you catch yourself scrolling mindlessly, comparing endlessly, or doubting unnecessarily, pause. Ask yourself, where is my attention right now? Because that's where your energy is going, and that's where your life is being built. Shift it, reclaim it, bring it back to you. Because when your attention is on your journey, your habits, your growth, your energy becomes focused. And focused energy is unstoppable. That's how legacies are built. That's how breakthroughs happen. That's how you become everything you were meant to be. By focusing on you. In a world that glorifies hustle, speed, and constant motion, stillness can feel like a foreign language. We're conditioned to believe that if we're not chasing, we're falling behind. That if we're not moving, we're losing. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if the universe doesn't reward frantic effort, but aligned energy? What if the most profound shifts don't come from force, but from stillness? Stillness is not laziness. It's not giving up. It's a powerful, intentional pause, a state of trust, a moment of alignment between what you're doing and what you truly desire. Stillness says, I've done the work. I've planted the seed. Now I allow the process to unfold. It's where faith meets preparation. It's where power meets patience. Because some of life's most powerful breakthroughs don't happen when you're chasing, but when you're trusting. When you're constantly chasing, you're often acting from fear. Fear of missing out, fear of being forgotten, fear of not being enough. You push harder, you force results, you rush the process, and in that noise you miss the subtle guidance life is always offering. You miss the signs, the synchronicities, the quiet nudges that whisper, wait, not yet, trust me. But stillness sharpens your awareness. It allows you to hear those whispers. It clears space for clarity. In stillness, you realize that not everything is yours to force. Some things must unfold in their own time, and when they do, they arrive stronger, better, and more aligned than anything you could have planned. Stillness doesn't mean inactivity. It means grounded presence. It means continuing to show up for your responsibilities, your growth, your vision, but without the frantic energy of desperation. It means knowing when to act and when to step back, when to speak and when to listen, when to push and when to allow. That kind of balance creates power. It creates peace. And peace is the ultimate magnet for the life you want. The universe responds to stillness because stillness is a sign of trust. It's a signal that you believe in the process, that you're not trying to control every outcome, but instead you're aligned with your purpose and open to the timing that is meant for you. That kind of trust sends a message, not just to the universe, but to yourself, that you're grounded, focused, and ready. So if things feel slow right now, if the progress you expected hasn't arrived, if the doors haven't opened yet, don't panic, don't force, don't chase, trust. Keep doing your part, but allow the rest to come to you. Stillness is not empty, it's full of potential. It's the quiet before the breakthrough, the space where magic brews, unseen and unhurried. The most beautiful things in life aren't always rushed, they're revealed. And when they arrive, it's not because you chased them down, but because you prepared, believed, and allowed them to meet you in the stillness. Trust that. Trust the timing, trust the silence, trust the stillness. In a world that shouts, you must learn to whisper. In a race that never seems to end, you must dare to slow down. And in a culture obsessed with showing off, you must master the art of staying grounded and still. The truth is simple yet profound. You are most powerful when you are focused, silent, and aligned. Not when you're chasing attention, not when you're proving your worth to the world, but when you are quietly building, healing, growing, and trusting the process. That's where transformation lives. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Focus is not selfish, it is strength. And letting go is not surrender, it is spiritual maturity. Because when you stop trying to control everything, you create space for the universe to do what you cannot. Connect the dots, align the timing, open the doors. Your job is not to chase the world. Your job is to become so deeply rooted in your growth, so committed to your peace, and so faithful to your purpose that the world begins to shift around you. The right people find you, the right moments align for you, and the right energy flows through you. So stay in your lane, stay grounded in your silence, stay locked into your vision. Let others talk, let them doubt, let them distract. That's not your business. Your business is you. Your power is you. And your peace is found when you finally stop reaching outward and start listening inward. Focus on yourself, stay silent, let the universe work. Your breakthrough is already on the way. Just keep showing up in stillness and let life meet you there.